Hello, everyone, and welcome to CFP Today, right here on Canadian Football Perspective, brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Fox 40. Follow them on social at Fox 40 International. It's where you can find them on the Twitters. Still Twitter. Is everybody going to Blue Sky? Let me know. Not really sure what to do with that. Some people are saying Threads. I've already reached the point in aging where the idea of going to any new platform just seems exhausting, which probably isn't a great thing when you work in media and the young people are the ones that you're supposed to be trying to reach in order to stay relevant. Uh, I have a TikTok account. I don't really use it. I feel like if I go on there, my brain is going to turn into mush because it's all too addictive. It's too entertaining. That's what it's designed to be. Anyways, welcome to the show. Today, going to be talking about Nick Arbuckle. This is a story that will unfold as the week goes on. I love Don Landry's comment on CFL.ca and his three takeaways from the Argonauts' arrival, which was essentially that Nick Arbuckle is a fan of ghosting people, and for good reason, because he just doesn't care about anything that happens outside of his family and his quarterback coach and Ryan Dinwiddie, and that's all that really matters. So rest assured, Nick Arbuckle will not hear this podcast, CFP Today, brought to you by Fox 40. But hopefully, he's going to be locked in and have himself a great game, because I think CFL fans deserve that at the end of a very entertaining season that had a ton of games decided in the final 3 minutes. Here's my whole thing with Nick Arbuckle before I get to kind of like how this game could play out with him at the controls for the Double Blue. He has an opportunity in front of him. You might have heard me on yesterday's show here talking about the Saskatchewan Roughriders. If not now, when? Why would we ever think that Nick Arbuckle was going to get another chance to start a Grey Cup? Think about how hard it is to start and win a Grey Cup. Think about how hard it is just to be a football player that gets recruited to a Division I school out of university. How hard it is from any division school that you go to become a professional football player, whether that be CFL, NFL, otherwise. To get a chance to be the starting quarterback on a professional football team. Think about how hard that is, the odds on that. Think about the odds of playing in a league like this that is so unpredictable and making your way all the way to the championship game and still being healthy enough, as Ched Kelly just found out, to start in that championship game, in the Grey Cup. So for Nick Arbuckle, I just hope, and I think he will take it this way because Nick is a very well thought of and well thought out human being. I think he will treat this as a once in a lifetime opportunity. Arguably, not just a career defining game, a life defining game. Like, that might seem like hyperbole and seem ridiculous, but if you really think about it, right, you take a step back and you don't just you get away from the grind, as I'm sure Nick will do, of, well, this is what we got to put in for second down packages, and this is what we're going to run, run the football against this front on 1st and 10 when we're at our own 20-yard line, and like all of the minutia of that stuff. I kind of hope he just steps back and goes, can't believe I'm here, and then tells himself, I deserve this, I want this, I can do this, and then realizes, if I win this game, I'll be remembered forever as Nick Arbuckle, not CFL journeyman, couldn't get it, going with any of these franchises and got taken from Calgary to Ottawa, and then they didn't want him and moved him to Toronto, and on and on and on. He will be remembered as 2024 Grey Cup champion, 111th Grey Cup champion Nick Arbuckle, who led the Argonauts to a stunning defeat over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers for the second time in 3 years. But this time he gets to play potentially the hero. Now, I will say this. I think for Toronto to win the Grey Cup, it's going to take basically what happened when Toronto beat Montreal in Montreal back in week 6, which was Janarian Grant touchdown return, Wynton McManus pick 6. I genuinely believe you got to get at least 10 to 14 points from outside of your offense. Defense and special teams are going to be massive. The good news is that they have a huge advantage, I think, in the return game and in the punting game. So flipping field position as possessions go back and forth should be in their favor. But that always kind of gets overblown because in a matchup like this, you go, well, the between those two punts, they really change field position. All it takes is one Kenny Lawler 60-yard gain, and the punting game doesn't matter at all. So I think this is going to come down to Nick Arbuckle making really good decisions with the football. I'm super, super interested to know how they are going to shape the offense for Nick Arbuckle going into this game, because against Winnipeg and their incredible defense this year, as they've picked it up in the second half of the season during that 8-0 stretch, you cannot just line up and say our base offense is better than your base defense. And in a Grey Cup, obviously you're going to put all the stops because you want to try and win the damn thing. But are they going to go screen heavy early on? Because that'll tell us if they're scared to use Nick throwing the football at all. Are they going to lean on the running game but make it more creative? Are they going to use the extended running game? Are they going to just open it up and let Arbuckle let it fly and say, hell, we're here. Let's go. Let's see what happens. Man, I would love to be a fly on the wall with Ryan Dinwiddie and his offensive coaching staff, where they sit down, for the first time before they get on the practice field, all the rest, and just go, what do we want to do? What is the plan? Like, what is the concept? What's going to define our victory if we're going to win this thing? And being real with you, like, if that's letting Nick open it up, I'm for it. I think it'd be fun as hell, but I don't think that's what they're going to do at all. So it's going to be a judge early on of how they want to treat this thing, and I think all of us will be kind of nitpicking on those little details in the first quarter and a half. I was just asked this question because I did the waggle with Donovan Bennett and Enoch Mwamba. What's a good stat line for Nick Arbuckle if he is, he goes on to victory? And I said, I'll give you a winning stat line. I'll give you a losing stat line. Winning stat line, 18 of 24, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns. That could probably win it if they get the ground game going with Kadeem Carey and their defense and special teams do a good enough job. Losing stat line is 21 of 34. So you're not as high completion percentage. You're having to kick the ball away more often. You're giving Zach more possessions, going back the other direction. I could see him having 1 touchdown, still losing the game, especially if he has more than 1 interception. The question here is, will Dinwiddie let him put the ball anywhere near an interception, or will they just ask him to operate the offense and play basically keep away from Zach and the Bombers? Should be a great game, ton of intrigue, but game of a lifetime, opportunity of a lifetime, career-defining moment for Nick Arbuckle coming up in the 111th Grey Cup this Sunday in Vancouver. Really wish I was going, but I'll just keep talking into my microphone from my house by myself. That's going to do it for CFP today. Thanks as always for hanging out and enjoying, and don't forget to go support Fox 40. Go to fox40shop.com. CFP15 is the code you use at checkout. Talk to you tomorrow, everybody, with a breakdown of the Argonauts' defense before we get to some Bomber stuff later on in the week. But the Argos' defense, unbelievable. They've been winning games with some of the numbers that they have been giving up the last couple of weeks. I'll dive into them for you coming up on Wednesday.